What are you doing to appeal to students and young voters in order to encourage them to vote and become engaged in politics?
Well, as I said earlier, I actually started when I was 17, and I'm passionate about getting younger people involved, and it's not about me telling them what to think or what to do or how to do. It's about encourage them taking part in politics, and we are a very inclusive party. The Labour Party has two youth strands. We have Labour Students, which all your people can join for just £1 a year, and you'll see our advert in Verve magazine, and we also have Young Labour. So this encourages the young members to actually take part, and that's how we would like to see. We're encouraging young people to sign up and register for voting, and also their input shapes our policies. So we're talking about reducing reducing student grants, the student fees, and improving the maintenance grant, and that's all been funded, and that's in the policy.
The main reason people don't vote today is because they say, why should I vote? All the candidates are the same. Well, I've mentioned a few things that I believe I am different, and I really am different. I believe in doing things. Another example, we had a disabled factory in Poole called Remploy, set up after the Second World War for disabled veterans coming back from the war. I was about 6 years ago contacted by them. They were closing it down. I collected 6,000 signatures. I got a team of 5 and we ran and power walked up to the House of Commons in 30 hours, where I managed to tweak a meeting with the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions in front of LWT television and other media. We saved the factory. I also found out that every single ratepayer in Dorset was paid. Oh, well, I keep that story for another time.
I'm trying my best to engage students in politics. I think it's really important because there's such a huge population, especially in Bournemouth West. And even if you don't vote Green, just vote for someone. It's really important that you think about your future, think about what's important to you, what you hold dear. Now you've been through university, are the fact that tuition fees an issue? Would you prefer there to not be tuition fees for your children, for example? So these are the kind of things that I want students to think about, and also their job opportunities and their future that's coming up, the next sort of 10, 20 years when they're thinking about, homes, careers, families. They're all really important. And if you don't vote, then you don't have any say in it. So I'm trying to engage through social media, through events, through doing anything to meet students and just say, please vote.
When I go around, as I do now and have done for the last few years, campaigning on behalf of UKIP, the one thing that comes across to me is a disaffection as regards the politics as they are today. Many people don't vote because they don't think it makes any difference. They've abandoned sort of any notions of having any influence in the way that the country is going. So that's what I come against. But I believe that the main cause of that, people becoming disaffected and disillusioned, is that they honestly feel that they are not listened to anymore, and whatever they say makes no difference. So I would put across my policy that we aim, and our intention is to bring democracy back to the communities, back to the people, so that they can feel that they once again have some control over their own destiny.
Well, being a Liberal Democrat, it's quite scary. I had to have armed protection to come here to a university campus because of the whole student fees business. What I'm doing at the moment is taking every single opportunity just to talk with people about why I'm standing. Because a lot of friends of mine who I suppose, I put myself centre-left. Many of my friends are working in universities and in colleges, and they're quite surprised that I'm standing for Lib Dems, especially here in a university town. So I'm just using every opportunity I can to talk to people, to listen to people. I'm not a career politician. I've never been elected before. It's interesting to go through this process and to come to things like this. I was very happy to be invited to this, but I'm happy and available to talk to anyone. And so wherever I go, I tend to sort of be explicit, say, this is who I am, this is what I'm standing for. There's a huge student population in this town. I've done work here at the university and at other colleges, so it's kind of relatively natural, common territory. So I'm just pursuing that with vigour, I guess.
This is another big thing of mine. First of all, you need to register to vote. That's the main thing. Now, we're in the Labour Party, and the 8 local candidates, parliamentary candidates, we've got 3 that are under 30 years old. The North Dorset is a 26-year-old teacher, a male teacher. In Christchurch, he's a 27-year-old medical company, works for a medical company. And in Poole, she's a 30-year-old librarian. Now, and we've got one art student who's standing as a town councillor in Bournemouth. Now, it really annoys me why people say, oh, I can't be bothered to vote. In Australia, you have compulsory voting. If you don't vote, you'll get fined. And I think we should think about bringing that in, because if not, well, if you don't vote, who's going to run the country? Are you going to dictatorship?
Well, I'm trying to convince them and explain to them the massive amounts of debt that the country's incurred that they're actually on the tab for. Because there's very few people who understand what has happened in the economy over the last 20 years. You know, this shift. Obviously, you're at the brunt of having tuition fees and having increasing costs, but most people don't understand that the quantitative easing that's happening in the country, that's essentially kicking the problem of debt down the road. The people who've got everything, the people who may have been working all their lives or retired, the people who've bought their houses and living comfortably, you know, they've been given, in effect, via the macroeconomy, they've been given a lot of money. Printed money, granted, which has debased the currency. And all that debt, which has got to be paid back, and it's got to be paid back with interest, is going to be people of your generation. So, you know, you guys should be livid with politicians, you know, but not for the reasons that many people think, because you're being asked to pay for it. And I bet no one ever asked you whether that was okay.
This is a question we are asked a lot at the moment. In the Green Party, our membership has surged from around about 20,000 in January to 56,000 the last time I looked a couple of days ago. 16,000 of our new members are young Greens, so they're below the age of 30, and they are developing and implementing key policy. I was at the Green Party conference in Liverpool last weekend, and the young Greens were debating and crafting policy that would have radical change. They passed a fully costed motion to abolish tuition fees, for example, which means when we are voted in, we will be able to enact policy that young people have voted on. There are a number of other ways that we can engage as well, as in bringing more online methods of voting and support and engaging in politics.
Well, this is another great question, because even in my day, when I was president of my students' union, I was seen as a bit of an anomaly. As, you know, why on earth are you interested in politics? Get a life. And we need to realize that actually politics affects everybody. It becomes more serious as you get older, as you get a mortgage, as you get married and have children and so forth. You're affected more perhaps by some of the decisions made by government. But actually we want people at a much younger age to start being involved and share your ideas of where you want to go and tell us what is important to you. And I'm really grateful to the university for this initiative and indeed the other debates that we've had. There has been a request though to say, educate us more about what politics is about so we can make better decisions, so we can be more involved. And I think MPs have a duty to, and indeed all politicians, councillors as well, to come and talk to students at schools, to participate in debates and so forth, and interact more. Having said that, compared with my day, when there wasn't the internet, there wasn't that interaction to be able to call up MPs in the way you can and communicate. So there's no excuse now for us to strengthen that relationship and get more young people involved in politics.